All right, welcome to this explainer. We're doing something a little different today. We're turning the tables. You're not just sitting back and listening this time, you're actually stepping into the challenge lab yourself. So grab your imaginary gavel, because you are officially in the judge's seat. Here's the deal. I'm going to present you with some different debate arguments pulled straight from our source material. Your mission is to actively weigh the impacts of these opposing sides and ultimately make the final call. You hear the arguments, you weigh the evidence, and you decide who takes home the victory. Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, Debating Health and Distraction, for rounds 1 and 2. So, round 1, we're looking at the classic debate over reducing homework. On side A, we've got the argument that homework fundamentally builds responsibility in students. Pretty standard, right? But pitted against that, on side B, is the argument that too much homework actively reduces sleep. And honestly, anyone who's ever pulled an all-nighter knows exactly how brutal that feels. So we're weighing character-building responsibility directly against sleep and physical well-being. I'm going to literally pause here for a second. Weigh these two options in your head. Does building responsibility outweigh the absolute biological necessity of sleep? Which argument holds more weight on your personal scorecard? Well, if you chose side B, you totally nailed it. A real judge recognizes that side B takes the win here based purely on magnitude. Health affects students every single day. It carries a massive, unavoidable impact. Foundational daily health is always going to outweigh incremental responsibility. Moving right into round 2, we're tackling the cell phone dilemma. Side A argues that phones are these powerful tools, helping students research information at lightning speed. But side B counters that, pointing out that phones heavily distract students during active lessons. So it's fast research utility versus the very real danger of distraction. Time to make your call. As you sit in the judge's seat, ask yourself, does the sheer speed of accessing information make up for a shattered focus in the classroom? Who are you giving the win to? And side B takes the win again. The logic here is all about prerequisites, right? Distraction directly affects learning during the class. If a student's focus is completely hijacked by their screen, their ability to research quickly doesn't even matter, because the primary function of being in class, actually learning the lesson, has already been completely compromised. All right, on to Section 2, Valuing Expression and Routine. This covers rounds 3 and 4. For round 3, the classic school uniform debate forces us to look at two highly valued concepts. Side A argues uniforms are necessary because they reduce clothing-based distractions. Meanwhile, Side B argues they're actually harmful because they put a ceiling on a student's self-expression. So, minimizing distractions versus honoring personal expression. Think carefully on this one. It requires you to prioritize what fundamentally matters more in a school environment. So, which side gets your vote? Okay, here's the twist. Both of these arguments are actually completely reasonable. There's no automatic winner here. The stronger answer depends entirely on which impact you, the judge, value more. You see, in debate, the impact is the ultimate consequence of an argument. A strong judge doesn't just arbitrarily pick a side. They explain why one impact, like say a distraction-free environment, matters more than personal expression. Let's jump to round 4. Side A states that daily exercise improves overall health. Simple enough. Side B points out the opportunity cost. Exercising takes valuable time away from studying. We are pitting physical vitality directly against raw study time. Put your judge's hat back on and make your choice. Looking at a student's daily schedule, do the books win or does the body win? This actually brilliantly illustrates how we weigh long-term versus short-term impacts. Side A is stronger. And why is that? Because health dictates your long-term ability to learn and live well. If you burn out physically, those extra hours of studying aren't going to yield results anyway. The foundational necessity of your health simply outweighs the short-term loss of an hour of study time. Moving right along to Section 3, the tablet and bonus challenges. This is round 5 and the ultimate test. In round 5, we're looking at replacing traditional textbooks with tablets. Side A highlights the incredibly fast access to a whole world of information. But Side B brings up a pretty glaring risk. Tablets distract students with games and apps.
Kind of sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Take a quick second to decide the stronger side in this digital debate. Fast information versus the massive temptation of digital distraction. Which impact is heavier? All right, the crucial point here is that side B takes the win again. Just like with the cell phone debate, the active harm from distraction heavily outweighs the convenience of fast information. Because, let's face it, a distracted mind isn't absorbing that fast information anyway, which makes the distraction a much more critical impact to avoid.
And now for the bonus challenge. Should we use group projects more often? Side A champions the massive, real-world benefits of learning teamwork. Side B, though, highlights the persistent fairness problem. Come on, we all know that one person in the group who does absolutely nothing while you do all the heavy lifting. So we're weighing the vital life skill of teamwork against the harsh reality of unfair, unequal workloads.
This is your ultimate test as a judge today. And you know what? I'm not going to give you the answer. Pause and compare these competing impacts directly against each other. Does the overarching benefit of collaboration outweigh the sheer frustration of a free rider? Make your final decision, and most importantly, justify it in your own head. Finally, let's wrap things up with Section 4, your final score and debriefing the lab. If you directly compare these opposing arguments today, if you actually weighed those competing impacts against each other, and if you explicitly explained your reasoning out loud for why one mattered more than the other, well, congratulations. You didn't just pick a side, you analyzed the consequences. You are officially thinking exactly like a real debate judge. You've completely mastered the judge's seat today. You've seen firsthand how impacts are weighed and how victories are decided. But I want to leave you with this final, provocative question to test your strategy going forward. Once a judge makes a call and evaluates these impacts, what should a speaker do next in a debate round? How do you adapt? Keep that rolling around in your head as you continue exploring the art of debate.